Hello, everybody. Um, as I stated on the Facebook, I'm gonna make some two videos. That is a battle of the egos within the twin flames. But those battle of the egos, they not only apply to the twin flames. They generally apply to relationships between a couple of what is going on inside. What's the situation? What is the main reason for a lot of the separations inside? It stated was the twin flames. I want to make this clear of it. Why we're making the videos titled twin flames. Within the twin flame connection, actually, the things are highly intense. They're evolving everything inside of you, and they're possessing the new vibrations, which is they're very strong. Those vibrations they can be felt and during those separation processes, during the battles of the egos within the twin flames, the parts are very, very highly strong. Those videos are made it for educational purpose because a lot of the people I'm talking to, a lot of the twin flames, they're lacking information, they're lacking education within the twin flames of what's going on. The whole idea with those videos is it's to remove the pain, it's to remove the suffering by understanding of what we do and how we do it. Okay, this first video it's actually battle of the ego. It's titled separation because this is how the separation process coming in. But you're going to have a battle of the ego when you do your realizations as a twin flame. So to begin with this, the twin flame it's actually united between two people who are very very much in a very intense connection in love within the soul, and sometimes that connection is too strong, cannot be handled by the two people because of the battles of the egos. The egos are not understanding what really is going on. They don't want to give up the control. And the ego, we need to look at it inside of digging up more in depth of what's going on with the egos of it. So, what is the ego now? When you're talking about ego, we actually post all this stuff there in the Facebook. If you go to Adio Veselinov on Facebook, you will see them there. They have been posting it over. I post them throughout the day of what's going on so I can prepare it for it. So I just get them from Facebook. I'm making some screenshots and going on to the videos. Ego, it's a noun. It's the part, the I or self of any person. A person that's thinking, feeling, and willing, and distinguishing itself from the selves of others from objects of its thought. And a psychoanalysis, the part of psychic apparatus that experiences and react to the outside world, and this mediates between the primitive drives of the I and the demands of the social and physical environment. Egoism, it's self-importance. So, to look at it, what the ego is, that's the part, what's about me, what about I, me part. And when the connection begins into it, let me remind you that mostly like 75, we're talking about 80% of the people that I'm talking to, mostly of them, they're either in a relationship or they're already married, and about maybe 20% of them, they've been in twin flames for 15, 20 years or more, and they're realizing of the information that we are providing now with the educational part that they're being in twin flames. I'm meeting someone on Thursday, someone who's been in the twin flames for 30 years, back in 1980s. And we're talking about people understand finally through education what's going on. But when the ignition stage comes in into the twin flames, Now they don't understand what's really going on. I knew what's going on right now with my life. I go to work, I make a money, I have a kids, I take care of my kids, I have a wife, and everything is okay. I go to work, I have a kids, I have a husband, I have a roof on my head, I have everything pretty much what I want, but I'm not happy. What's going on? So during the ignition state, between the two, all of a sudden they feel that they're part of the same thing. And now what? He's me and I'm her, or I'm him and he's me. What's going on? What is that part? It's trigger. It tries to make the connection, but the connection is about soul, something you haven't experienced it before. And during that part of, you don't know how to navigate, you don't know how to operate. So the only thing that you know how to operate, it's ego. So you working out that the battle of the egos begin at the beginning to see how far you can get. Because you don't trust the ignition part of the soul, that you need to trust that love, because that love is something new to you, something new on it. And the battle of the egos begin. But here is the part. Hey, I forgive and forget, but the ego, I forgive you, but I will never forget what you did to me. And here's the part, you still have these grudges inside of it. And that part of not forgetting, that's me, didn't let it go. You didn't truly let it go. If you forget something, then you actually move on out of it. You remove that part, the lesson's still there, but you remove that part out of you. And a lot of the twin flames actually, that part when during the stage of things, when there is no communication, there is this battle of the ego, they have this challenge of, yesterday you were not nice to me, so today I will be not nice to you. There is actually a similar quote, it's coming right up on that, but that is the part of I won't forget what you did to me. And that part is the ego, it's the human part of the society that teaches. Later on I will show you a nice quote, comes in from Maria Curie. She's French, she passed away, but she was a French scientist that worked together with her husband Pierre Curie, who actually they discovered the radioactivity power of it. But she was very smart. She did a lot of quotes on relationships. Um, the battles of the ego begins when the ignorance take place, and that egos, when they are triggered during the ignition state. Right now, they're leading to the stage of this part of the separation. If you ignoring me, I'll ignoring you. And the old pattern of the path, it's like if you hurt me, I'll hurt you. If you hit me, I will hit you. And that is the ego part. If you don't make an effort to start the conversation, sometimes we won't talk. If you don't put it in an effort, why should I? And that is the part of ignorance that it's begin to be ignited in a lot of the twin flames I've been talking to, and they ask me about the silence. The silence is actually to look the truth, cannot speak the truth, cannot live up to the truth. And this is how you lead to that part that you begin to ignore. But you begin to ignore from looking at from things that you don't know. You don't know the soul level, you don't know the soul connections, you don't know how everything this operates. Until down the road you learn how you operate. You understand what you did, you understand the mistakes that is going on. And a lot of the twins during that separations, this ignorance part, it's huge. And is as vibrations can hurt both of it. Why? It hurts because it hits the egos. It hits this inner part of I, that I am more important than we. And a lot of the twin flames suffer because they damage the we part, they damage the union part, they damage the love part. And during this stage of battle of the ego, they begin to separate. They begin to feel this part of tensions, of separations that is so powerful. And a lot of the twin flames I'm talking to, they have this pains inside. Specifically, the females. It's very hard to take it. Some of the males, though, during the ignition stage, because there is this exchange, the male becomes the female to understand the part, and the female becomes the male. The ignorance part of the female with the masculine energy, that is incredibly hurtful because it's damaged the man who is with the feminine energy. The other case is actually sometimes it's very bad too. If she was the feminine with masculine energy, but during the exchange she took the feminine part of him and she gave him the masculine part, and now he's like, I don't care who you are, I'm gonna ignore everything you said. I don't believe in this twin flame bullshit crap, and guess what? I'm gonna ignoring you. You didn't want to talk to me when I was wanted to talk to you. I'm sorry. Bye bye. And a lot of these things is the battles of the egos. And what happened down the road, you will understand that doesn't matter what's going on with the ego, the soul connection still exists because your twin flames is inside of you. It's part of you because of this exchange of what happened to it when you two met. The exchange of the energy that the one gave the energy to the other. And this is the part that down the road the twin flames will understand is the missing part. They missing part of themselves, and you missing part of yourself that actually went inside of them. During that exchange, that's what actually happened. And this is what you're missing. You're missing the part, them. So, what's going on? You keep on going on this separation process. You may be talking or trying to figure out this part out, but the misunderstanding now is getting enforced simply because there is hurt now. What it hurts is the ego. When nails grow long, we cut nails, not fingers. So here is the part. Instead of sit down and figure out everything out, so you don't have the misunderstanding, what the twin flames and not everybody else does, it's like, you know what? That's it. We're done. I had enough of you. I'm gonna be angry. I'm gonna be mad at you. And guess what? You're gonna breaking up that relationship. The part of the relationship right now, it's broken. And here is begin the blame. She or he does this, or he does that. And some of the twin flames actually they never say the words I love you to that point. And now they begin to blame the other twin flame for their own ignorances. And this is the part of the misunderstanding. You don't understand that part, what's going on, but you have the feelings inside. And the ego, it's tearing you apart because you have this love inside of you that you never experienced it before, but now it's all this part inside of you. It's like, this is cannot be happening to me. What is wrong? What's going on with all this? And instead of getting to the point, you're actually cutting the relationship. You are destroying the relationship to it. One of my quotes, the silent from ego is forcing the lie, and the silence in the soul is seeking the truth. And this is the part that there's going to be a disposition of the silence when it comes into the twin flames, because the one's going to become silent, so it's the other. And that is the part when they taking a time to understand what's going on, to reconnect. If they try to reconnect, but if it is not, the silence inside of it does two things. The one of the twin, it's gonna forcing the lie. The other of the twin is gonna begin to seeking the truth. And the first, it's gonna be the outer expression of the ego. That's gonna be to express that ego, to be silenced in the soul, which is impossible. And the other one, it's gonna become a walk into the inner wisdom, and that is the part when the one becomes awakened during the separation, and the other goes down to it, so they can look at the issue from two different directions of what's going on. But the universe begin to talk to both of them. Silence is broken once the universe begin talking to your soul, and inside of the soul, there's gonna be some talks, because of the both, the runner and the chaser, that's beginning to develop now. That part inside of them, there's someone's talking. There's something's talking to them, and that's something, someone, that it's the soul, that it's the higher self, that begins to talk that something is not quite right. And to begin with the next part, so it, uh, this is what begins to aggravate a lot of the twin flames. It's that if you can't get someone off your head, they maybe are supposed to be there. That's the part when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't thinking about her. Who I'm kidding, I'm thinking about her. 5 minutes later, you'd keep thinking about her. And they're always in the back of the mind. The chaser, it's the one who feels a lot of pain because they're chasing, they try to get something. The runner, though, he's got a lot of aggravations at the beginning. The runner gets very angry, not because of anything else, it's because they cannot get that person out of their mind, out of the head. It's like, what's going on with this? Why it's always he in front of me, or why it's always she in front of me? Can get this cut, this cord? Can I destroy this part? No, you can't. Simply because they're supposed to be there. This is the part of twin flames down the road. The both of them that will understand this part of it. And here is the quote that I was talking about. The Maria Curie is about a lot of the twin flames. I talked to them, and there was actually someone I talked to. He was not happy at life. He wanted to divorce, and when he went to the lawyer, he reconciled. Why? Because she was taking everything that he had to work for it, and he basically has no retirement. So he had to force himself to stay in the relationship, simply so he can have something in life. And that forcing him to be in a relationship, it's not the proper way into. A lot of the twin flames, they're forcing themselves over time to stay in the relationship until a few years pass, a lot of years pass sometimes, and they realize what's going on. And that realization we're going to talk about in the second video of it, it's getting too strong. But now it begins this part of to be nobody but yourself, which is very hard for the twin flames at this part, is when you're going to become yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else. This is the part when the society, religion, parents, everybody tries to mold you of what they think you should be, but they never see what you want to be. So here is the part when a lot of the ego comes in here, and the ego will listen about everybody else. Simply, that means to fight the hardest battle which a human being can fight and never stop fighting. The battle of the ego to be fit into the society, to fit with your friends, to fit you in your relationship with your relatives, to obey the rules, but to abandon yourself, your inner desires. And a lot of the twin flames during this separation stage, they actually do this. This part of it, they're not beginning to be their true self. And the ego tears everything apart, everything in pieces. And that is the beginning of the hurt. And that evolved to the next part. Hurt people, hurt people. That's how pain patterns to get passed on, generation after generation after generation. Break the chain today, meet anger with sympathy, contempt with compassion, cruelty with kindness, grimaces with smiles, forgive and forget about finding fault. Love is the weapon of the future. That's the part when the awakened twin flame takes off of that and runs with it. Uh, the awakened twin focus on the love, focus on the light. It doesn't matter what's going on. It gets into deep inside of the love, expands the love. It's always look for improvement. The separation going towards the light, and that is the part when the one twin says like, you know what, had enough of your bullshit, had enough of your pain, I had enough of your ignorance, have enough of your silence. Go see the light. Go seek God. And that is the part when actually the one cuts it off, breaks it up apart, simply because the pain doesn't suffer anymore. He wants to break these thousands of years of paradigm, or if I have to use a different words, this program of how everything is being generation of generations, to break this, to demolish this, because that's not how it is. That's not the right thing. And to use the love to break that parts, those chains of old. And that's why the twin flame comes in. And the one twin flame begin to understand these realizations of that moment of separations, to move up. And at the end, the one, it moves up, and the other one, it goes down and stays into its grief, its part of what's going on to do, and continue goes on. The egos of this moment, they're working, they're trying to go ahead and realize what's going on, but the soul inside of it talks, and the soul says, you know what, you have to figure out the way. You have to find the way of talking. You have to figure out this part. And the runner and the chaser part begins. And during that part, the runner actually goes into the darkness. He runs away. He doesn't want to, or she doesn't want to have nothing to do with that part, because the chaser is way too strong. The chaser hasn't realized that he needs to allow the runner to go ahead and find his own truth, so when he comes back to be accepted. And over the same time, the runner has to allow the chaser, listen, work on yourself, you're too much attached to me. And that is the part of the battles of the egos during the separations. That is the part when down the road, after everything it's getting over the years, it's this realization that comes in. This part of realizing that whatever happened at this stage of that separation, that was nothing but a pure ego, pure egoism inside of it, to be about me instead of the we part. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope some of you understand this part. I hope some of you will be prevent from this, to learn from it, and some of you to get benefit of this. Thank you so much. Be loved.